Just seconds away from extra rounds here starting on UFC Fight Pass. It is me, TJ DeSantis, Vanessa Demopoulos. We are hanging out at the Sportsbook here at Park MGM on the ground in Las Vegas. And the man, the myth, the legend, Bam Bam, is here. Tai Tuivasa. There we go, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I'm alive.
We got you a chair, ready to hang out a little bit. I mean, just a week removed from your last fight, now taking in UFC 282. You seem like a guy who enjoys fight week, like a guy who enjoys it very much as a fighter, but also as a fan. Is that a fair analysis?
Yeah, definitely. I think fight week for me is more like the training's finished, it's all done, and now it's time to go to work. But I enjoy it. I love it all.
I kind of feel bad for Tai, Vanessa, because he's been here for maybe 45 seconds, and people are offering shoes up.
I know already. Like they just want to, they want to see him do the shoeies. Tai, what has that been like for you as such a rising star this year? Now having like everybody screaming your name as you're trying to walk through a casino.
Hey, man, it's cool. I believe if it wasn't for the fans, who the fuck am I? You know what I mean? And that's something I'm really proud of, and I love my fans, and hopefully they love me, So.
And I feel that is still something that is very stereotypical mixed martial arts. When I look at the other sports, the athletes of, say, the NFL, baseball, they're not able to literally surround themselves with that fight culture and with the fans. And, you have a traditional sports background playing Australian rules football. Do you feel like that is significantly different in mixed martial arts?
I think it's two different types of fans, you know what I mean? I love fight fans. I think they're really passionate and they're very they're eager, they're keen, I love that shit. I think it's cool, and at the end of the day, I get locked in a cage and I go in there and I try my best, and these people support me and they love me, and
they freaking love you. Like they love you above and beyond. Like for sure they love you.
And I hope that I can do, what I can do, and I can give them what they want as well, So I love it.
Yo, you're a true badass, by the way. Like you literally just fought last week. Here you are today. We get to sit next to you. We get to talk to you, interview. I saw you at the award show last night. Up for like how many different nominations? Like so sick.
About the awards night, I forgot about that. Yeah. Well, this is Las Vegas.
This is Vegas. Yeah. You're about to forget a lot of nights.
Vegas gets a hold of me. I don't know why. But it kind of gets a hold of me.
It seems like this is a city that's made for you, Tai. All right.
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it, but I love this place. I love. Everyone kind of knows how I am. I'm an easygoing guy. I love my job. I love to have fun, and I'm coming off a loss, last week. But we're alive. I'm living my best life. I'm providing for my family, and sometimes you win and sometimes you fucking lose. You know what I mean? And that's it. That's just how this game goes.
And that's one thing I'll say too, just real quick about your personality and how well, if this city is made for you, this sport is also made for you as well, Tai. And like win or lose, as long as you go out there and beat Tai Tuivasa, I don't think you're going to lose a fan on any fight night when it doesn't go your way. People are drawn to you for a reason, and whether you win or lose, you seem to deliver and continue the reasons for giving the fans a reason for them to cheer for you.
I'm going to say something off of what TJ's just saying too. It's like when you step in the cage, like obviously we are competitors. We want to freaking win, but everybody wins every time you step out there, because like you really are just like a champion at your heart for the people. Like you are loved by so many people across the world.
Stop it, guys. Stop it. Oh my gosh.
We have to let you know.
Come on.
I got to ask one of the harder questions, and I think you're the type of guy that's never going to say no, but do you regret the shoey bit a little bit? Because like I said, you can't go anywhere without people trying to offer up a shoe and get you to drink from it.
I believe I made my bed and I got to lay in it. And at the end of the day, I represent where I'm from, and I'm very strong for what I represent, and I'm an Aussie.
Right.
We love to party. We love to drink piss. And the shoey was the fastest way that I could try and get pissed. But like I said, I made my bed and I got to lay in it, and like yeah, I get people at breakfast, come on, do it, Shuey, fucking. I'm like, hey, let me eat my egg and bacons. And then,
It's not even
then,
noon.
Right. Yeah.
let me finish my shit, and then I like, you know what I mean, like, but. Like I said, if it wasn't for the fans or if it wasn't for the people that love me, who the fuck am I? You know?
There you go. And that's the attitude I think that people keep coming back for and signing up for, coming out to the meet and greet, things like that. People are excited to hang out with Tai Tuivasa for good reason.
I'm excited to hang out with
I'm
Tai
excited
Tuivasa.
I'm here because I didn't know the awards.
Right,
Shit.
so-
What are you talking about? I don't
I
even know what
was
you're
literally
talking
sitting
about. I don't
right
even
behind
know what
you
you're talking
at the
about.
award show last night.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
You know it's a good time when they're like, oh, the awards. Right, sure, they
that-
happen.
yeah,
They
that-
happen.
I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
That was fun.
Awards,
That was
them
fun.
awards, yeah.
You were literally nominated. Like,
Well, I mean, it sounds like you won. Regardless of the result, sounds like you won.
I did it and I left.
you did.
So-
Oh my gosh.
We got the fights here. We got two, light
hell
heavyweight
ahead.
hitters. There we go.
The hell ahead.
So he's just drinking from a normal glass right now.
Yes.
Although I did bring the proper shoes for a shoey. You see my
Yes,
shoes?
But he's not drinking piss right
That's
now.
true.
He's
That's
drinking
true.
Howlerhead.
Have you seen my proper shoes here for a shoey? What do you think of
What
these stuff?
shoes you
These
got?
are the most perfect shoes for a shoey because they
Look at
are
that.
literally
They're clear.
it's a plastic shoe.
What do you think? See?
Whoa, wait, 1 second,
It's basically a cup.
Yeah.
The shoe is
Dude, look
basically
at
a cup.
the moist
I got
in
sweaty
that
feet.
shit.
I got sweaty feet. What do you
Because
want
it's
from me?
plastic.
Oh
It is
my
plastic.
god, look at the moist
Right.
in that.
You
What?
know, see, that's what you wear to cut weight for your feet.
My man, you sweating down there?
A little bit. But I got good
All
size.
right,
They're,
Yeah.
they're plastic shoes. They're
All right,
plastic
give me a
shoes.
beer. Give me a beer.
no.
Give me a
Oh,
beer.
the man
Give me a
said
beer.
give me a beer.
They're saying we can. They're saying we
They
can.
said we can't do it.
can't
They
do
said
it.
we can't do it.
Okay, no, we can't.
We can't do
Oh,
it.
no.
We can't do it. We
guys.
can't do it. We
Sorry.
can't.
You gotta save it for later. Save it for later.
We can't do it. Boo!
Oh no. All right. You know what the bad part is? We got people off camera going, no. Like, I'm going to be the one that tells Tai Tuivasa no. Great. Awesome. Let's talk about our main event, UFC 282. We got Jan Blachowicz taking on Magomed Ankalaev. It is a light heavyweight title tilt that was put together a little bit hastily after Yuri Prochazka, unable to defend his title. He vacates. Any thoughts on this fight between Ankalaev and Blachowicz?
Woo!
I mean, why not, right? Just sit back, relax, and enjoy it.
Hey, I'm just a drunk man in the crowd.
You know what the
That's
best part
it.
is? You know what the best part is? By the time this fight hits the octagon on Saturday, come Sunday, Ty might not even remember how it went. So you can just watch it later.
might not even
Hopefully I
remember he was
make it.
there.
Hopefully
There you
I
go.
make
He might not
it.
even remember he was there.
Yeah.
Hopefully
gonna
I make it. That's the number one. But no, I think there's some great fights coming up. I do think Glover should have got a shot.
I
But
agree with you.
that's just my
Right.
I don't really get involved in. I'm not a big watcher of the sport,
Sure.
but I thought he could have got his shot at that. I thought he was.
I think you will. You know.
but I
Dana
thought
White's already confirmed that he will be the next title contender.
See,
moving up.
you're smarter than
Right.
See,
Yeah.
You already know what's going on, but yeah, I think they're both freaks. They're both crazy fighters, both of them, and I think it's going to be cool. And like I said, I'm going to be drunk in the crowd watching, of course, and I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, what about Paddy the Batty? I mean, you got to be a fan of Paddy the Batty, right?
Are you a Paddy
Pimblett?
fan? Paddy Pimblett? Paddy the Batty?
Yeah, I don't know him as well, but I think he's. You got to remember, I'm not a big fan of fighting.
See, that's
don't-
what I
don't-
find
I'm
interesting.
I'm not a big
Dude.
fight fan. I'm not a.
I feel
I
you.
love fighting, as in I love the competitive.
Right.
I love the competitive side of fighting, but as a fan, I'm going to be honest. I'm not a full fight fan.
Okay,
I
so
don't,
what about your division? Do you keep an eye on the heavyweights at all, or are you the same way with them?
No, he just walks in and swings
I
some
get
things.
told I'm fighting this guy, and then maybe my coaches should look up him. But
I like that approach, though. I like that approach because honestly, there are a lot of people that are fight fans that are competing at the highest level, and they almost get burnout because they follow the sport and follow everything. When maybe you can keep a more clear, open mind when you just worry about yourself and handle your own business.
I like to worry about myself and improve myself and what I can get better at. But then again, you know, like that's just me. I'm my own individual, and I don't really. I love the art of fighting, but I'm not a fight fan, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but you're
That's
number
it.
one in fan relations as far as athletes go with the UFC because everyone loves you. So just go out there and do
I
your
love
thing.
my fans.
Right, exactly.
I love my fans.
Yeah, there you go.
But I'm not a fight fan. Yeah.
Awesome. Ty, appreciate the time. Thanks
Thank
for stopping
you very
by.
much.
And,
Appreciate it.
you know, enjoy UFC
Be
282.
awesome. Yakata.
There he is, Tai Tuivasa.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
Ty.
Appreciate it. Tai Tuivasa hanging out, joining myself, TJ DeSantis, Vanessa Demopoulos here. We are inside
Wait.
the sports book.
I want a picture with Tai
Okay.
Tuivasa and the three of us.
All right, I think someone can arrange that. Steve's
take
busy.
A picture.
Can you take a picture of us, Steve? All right, there we go.
He did.
Yeah, Steve means business. There we
Did
go.
you get it?
They
Okay.
got it.
Okay.
Perfect. Tai Tuivasa. Bam, bam. Hanging out. Thank you, sir. Appreciate
Be
it.
amazing. Be amazing.
All right, Vanessa Demopoulos. I'm not going to
Hello.
let you get out of here as quickly as Tai Tuivasa without giving me some quick analysis
I
on
love
our
this.
main event coming up on Saturday night. Tomorrow night, inside T-Mobile Arena, we see not Yuri Prochazka, Jan Blachowicz,
Yes.
former champion, back in the title picture, taking on Magomed Ankalaev. When I look at this fight, Ankalaev relatively sort of new when it comes to the title picture. However, not new at all whatsoever when it comes to being a force in this 205-pound division. He is on a 9-fight win streak, going all the way back to 2018. For Blachowicz, you know, we saw him capture the gold. He dropped it to Glover Teixeira. Is coming off a win, and now back in this title picture. Maybe it's not the ideal route per se. He didn't have like a title eliminator and then finds himself. But this is a sport where we see a lot of sort of short notice opportunities really, yield success. And you know, anytime you have a UFC title fight in front of you, you say yes when that phone rings. And for Blachowicz, he might be able to capture that championship belt once again. You know, looking at his opponent, who I said Ankalaev, newer to this title picture, how much is that experience really a factor when it comes to looking at Blachowicz having been in this spot before, taking on a relative newcomer when it comes to being, you know, the B side of a UFC main event?
Yeah, we don't know how many 5-round events he's really had in that type of like experience, and then for this being a last-second opportunity, but we know exactly how powerful he is. I mean, he's coming off a 9-fight win streak
Right.
currently, and I think like even with Jan's situation, he was literally on the plane on the way to Las Vegas
Right.
when he got the phone call as soon as the plane landed, because he didn't have internet on the plane, that he was now up for title contention this coming Saturday. Like, what an incredible story that they both get to walk in there with. Like, you know, one day you're sitting on your couch, next day you're fighting for a title in the UFC.
What's interesting, and I talk about the edge that maybe Blachowicz has being the former champion, it's sort of nullified at least by the odds makers. Looking at Blachowicz, he's a near 3-1 underdog, which is pretty crazy when you think about a former champion taking on a guy getting a title shot for the very first time. Do you think that is fair to the former champion in Blachowicz to be that sizable of an underdog to Ankalaev?
I think that we've seen so much success coming from the Ankalaev camps that it's like almost unheard of to speak against them at this point. Like, they've just been so incredibly dominant and successful, and I think that Polish power is really like something to also not undermine.
Right.
So
sure.
it's going to be really like amazing to see the two of these guys that are coming off of this crazy opportunity, because originally this fight was supposed to be amongst Yuri
Yep.
versus Glover Teixeira.
Yep.
So the fact that, like, normally if you see a fight line up like this, it's because one fighter drops out and then the other fighters had the advantage of having a full training camp, mentally preparing to step in there, and then the other person just like kind of gets thrown into the mix. Both of these gentlemen are being thrown into the mix right now, so we're just getting like a box of awesomeness.
No, 100%. It's hard to sort of, you know, picture what the pressure for Ankalaev is going to be. But, you know, you haven't made a championship walk yet in the UFC, but you know what it's like to be in the main event of a televised card. You know what it's like to have that pressure and be someone that, you know, gets an opportunity at something you've worked your entire life for. What do you think the mindset of Ankalaev is here? Because, again, he finds himself in sort of this last-minute replacement opportunity, but he's a big favorite too. Does that add pressure?
I would believe, you know, and I don't know him personally, but he just seems like a man of the stature that he's like, yes, of course I'm supposed to be here.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Yes, this makes sense. Like, I know that this is what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
Like, I feel like he's been emotionally preparing for this for long prior to actually getting this phone call.
You know, when you have a win streak behind you, which, by the way, Vanessa Demopoulos has a win streak behind her right now.
Fight win streak right
inside
now,
the UFC. Does that build pressure? Because you start to grow the expectations of fans. Like, when you get that steam behind you, do you feel that compared to when you're just going into, say, your first UFC fight or a fight off of a loss where you try to get back into the winning picture?
Yeah, there's two different ways that you can approach this. Either one, you have so much massive pressure on you because you are supposed to be the person that's supposed to be dominant. You're supposed to win. And you do have a lot of the fans' eyes on you. Or two, it grows your confidence and it grows like your self-belief, and it like confirms everything that you've already known about yourself to be able to walk forward with like your shoulders back.
Right.
So it just depends on who you are and what approach you take, but there could potentially be a lot more pressure, where I feel like Jan doesn't have the same amount of pressure right now. He has already been the champion. He has lost. He knows what that feels like, but also I feel like that's a driving force to push him forward, because he's like, I know exactly what this is, and I know exactly why I want it that bad. Which is why he already knew getting off the plane, like, yes, like everybody around him knew that that's what he wanted.
Right, yeah. Kind of going back to Tai a moment ago, like, I love his candor and demeanor as an athlete because, we talk a lot about that pressure and stuff. I think he's almost immune to it because the way he's so sort of self-centered about his own career, where, if you pay too much attention and sort of draw comparisons about what other champions do, what other contenders do, you start to think, okay, is this how I'm supposed to, conduct myself in the spotlight? And I wonder if maybe other athletes would be more better suited to sort of conduct themselves like Tai Tuivasa and just go, you know what? I'm a fighter. I don't need to be a fight fan. I don't need to look at precedents and how I'm supposed to be. And, I'm just curious, what are your thoughts on that? Should athletes maybe have a little more hands-off approach to other fighters and other happenings in the UFC?
I think I've definitely had the extreme of both of them.
Right,
because, people don't know this, but I didn't even have the luxury of being a fight fan until COVID happened, where all I could do was sit down and finally actually watch a fight.
Yeah.
Because I was working full-time and doing all these other things. And now I'm so immersed in this sport that I get to talk to you guys about what the main events are going to be looking like this coming Saturday. So I have seen both extremes, and I think it's really nice when you get to kind of do your own thing, silence everything that's around you, and just focus on you, and I get to bring a different dynamic now where I can analyze and look at things differently. So I think there's like positives to both of them. But man, it's so cool that he's just him.
Right.
Like there's never going to be another Tuivasa,
Yeah, no,
like,
100%.
Yeah, like that shoey thing he's got, he was ready for it too.
Yeah,
like
no,
if they didn't
100%.
stop him, he was doing it.
Oh, 100%. I'm just happy it didn't have to happen in my shoes. I like my shoes. Even if they are sweaty, I like my shoes, damn it. Not too many people are going to give me a funny look when I say, what do you think about Paddy the Batty? But,
but that goes to show you how much he really truly doesn't pay attention to the sport.
Right. Let's talk about Paddy the Batty. He is one half of our co-main event. He takes on Jared Gordon. Yeah, it's crazy to think that he's entering his third UFC fight thus far, Paddy Pimblett.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And it's already in the co-main event, and it's there aren't many athletes that can do that in this modern landscape in the UFC, and that sort of just tells you exactly how special Paddy the Batty is.
Yeah, he's extremely special. Even when you hear him speaking, at first I thought it was kind of an act, but the more I watch him, the more I see he really is drinking his own Kool-Aid. That man believes his sauce.
Right.
And
I think that's a good thing
so.
too.
That's a great thing.
There are a lot of people that say, "Oh, you shouldn't believe in your own hype. You shouldn't, sort of embrace how people see you. Stay humble and stay hungry." We know that Paddy the Batty's always hungry.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets up to heavyweight, I think, in between fights. But when I look at the way that he's sort of enjoying the moment, that's one thing that I think is very important too. If you're given this pedestal, if you don't embrace it, it might go away at any point, and it's not one that you're always guaranteed to get back.
Absolutely. I also feel like it's a hard fall from Graceland if you're not backing up everything that you're throwing out there.
Right, yeah.
So,
100%.
and I think that Paddy does have a lot of fans, and I think he also has a lot of people waiting to watch him fall too. And that's going to be a little bit difficult. So for somebody like Paddy the Batty, now this is somebody that I really want to talk about, how are you going to handle the pressure of being a co-main event of a UFC pay-per-view that this is your third fight in the UFC?
Yeah. 100%.
So this is another major thing, but I think Paddy's like, he signed up for this.
Yeah.
This is exactly what he wanted. This is what we get to look forward to from a superstar like Paddy the Baddy, and that's exactly what he is a freaking superstar on every single platform, on every arena, and especially in this UFC platform.
100%. And, that's one thing that you can look at Paddy Pimblett getting all of this sort of notoriety and attention. He's defending that as well. Even though that he's not, a champion yet, he has sort of that sort of limelight of many of the great high-end stars in the UFC, and he's defending that because Jared Gordon would love to come out and steal that away from Paddy Pimblett. So while it's not a title fight by any means, this is not only one of the biggest fights in Paddy Pimblett's career, but for Jared Gordon, he has a huge opportunity to cash in on that notoriety of Paddy Pimblett by going out there and beating him.
Yeah, and I think people are really, really looking past him because, this is a man that he was a veteran before he walked into the UFC arena.
Right.
He has a really, extensive boxing background. He's an amazing grappler. And, I grappled with him in the Blue Basement back in New York, under John Danaher. This man definitely knows what he's doing. He's been around the block, and I think that he's being looked past a little bit too much so right now.
And that's one thing about Paddy Pimblett. Paddy has, walked through some fire inside the octagon. He's come out the other side for it better, every single time. But Jared Gordon, do not sleep on this young man.
No.
So
yeah,
this is a high-stakes co-main event. It really is.
Yes, it truly is. It truly is. You have somebody who's trying to fight to be seen and somebody who is trying to fight to continue to be seen.
Yeah, no, 100%. Unfortunately, this UFC 282 card has taken its, bumps and bruises all the way from, the title picture. We thought we were going to see Yuri Prochazka take on Glover Teixeira, but one of the unfortunate fallouts happened. We were going to see Santiago Ponzinibbio take on ruthless Robbie Lawler. Lawler, unfortunately, is out, but Santiago is still very much in. And Ponzinibbio, for me, Vanessa, he is must-see TV each and every time he fights. I would love to see him go out there and mix it up with Robbie Lawler, but again, anytime Ponzinibbio is on the card, take my money. I want to watch it.
Right. Yeah. No. He is a gamer.
Yeah.
This dude is a gamer. Every time he goes in there, you already know. He's going to come at you with his hands. He has an extensive kickboxing. That's his main thing. But I don't really see him grappling a lot. And the gentleman that he's fighting is just such a good artist when it comes to analyzing you. He sees everything. He kind of breaks it down. He's more of a slow starter, takes in information, and then slowly chips away at you as the fight continues.
Yeah, Alex Morono taking that call and filling in for Robbie Lawler. And, that is the sort of interesting thing when you talk about the difference between opponents. Alex Morono is sort of a guy who will take that data that he will get in a fight and then sort of adjust and change the way that he approaches you. That's not the way you would approach a Robbie Lawler. Lawler is a more, all right, I'm going to bite down my mouthpiece, I'm going to hit you in the head, and if that doesn't work, I'm going to sit down in between rounds, then come back out and bite down on my mouthpiece and hit you in the head. Yes. And, so it is a little bit interesting. What do you think about the stylistic matchup for Ponzinibbio and the change? Do you think that is going to be a drastic 180 compared to what he was preparing for?
I believe so, but I also feel like Santiago is one of those people, he fights how he fights.
Right.
You're
True.
not going to, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
You're getting into a war.
Yeah.
That's what's happening right here. They're going to mix it up. It's going to be violent, and that's what we get to look forward to. So, but Alex, I believe, will probably take a little bit more of a methodical approach and try to study, understand, calibrate, and then make some action from there. So we'll see him a little bit later in the later half of the first round and then kind of picking it up in the second.
So when you go out there and you are fighting at this high level, what is your mindset for that first round? Is it, go out there and stick to my game plan, or is it one half that and then the other half trying to gather that data? Am I being too cerebral about it? What are your
you're
thoughts,
not being too cerebral about it. When I used to come in and fight prior to moving to Arizona, I was just however hard nosed I can be.
Right.
I was known for my toughness.
Right.
Dang, she can take a hit. So.
Which is also one of those things. it's great to have. It's also not the best thing to be known for.
You don't want to be known for that. So.
Vanessa Demopoulos, great chin. Great chin on that Demopoulos.
She can take a hit. She's a bleeder. So now I do take a lot more of a methodical approach,
Yeah.
and I listen to my coaches, honestly. I take the game plan in. So, we study, we have a game plan, and that's exactly what I like to follow. And that's how Alex is. He creates a game plan. He follows the game plan. He's freaking smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he takes it in, but he's going in there against somebody who's just going to bite down on their mouth guard, and we swinging them things.
Right, yeah,
Like,
100%. When you are preparing for a fight, how much do you personally put into watching footage and watching tape?
A lot.
Yeah?
Yes, definitely a lot.
Is that something you do by yourself? Is it with your coach? Like, how do you approach that generally?
I approach it generally. I do it on my own, and then I sit down with my coaches, and then I still sit down on my own, and I study what my coaches told me to do.
Got it.
Yeah.
So is the conversation generally...
On the way here, I was studying. Like,
really?
Yeah,
Like
I
here?
was like hair and makeup's getting done, and I'm like watching tape and footage.
Why?
Because
You can't stop, can you?
Well,
you can't stop.
we gotta talk about this
That's
stuff.
true. That is true.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I know what I'm talking about
obviously
here.
you're doing your thing for extra rounds, but I'm talking like more with your own division. Are you
Yes.
scoping out straw weights on the regular?
Nah. Well, I mean, I watch the fights.
Right, of
you know?
course.
Yeah, so like I know who everybody is
Right.
already. And then when it comes time to like actually study for my own fight, when
Yeah.
I do have an opponent, then yeah, I look a little bit harder. You
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, dang, this sandwich is good. And then you eat it, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, but like my palate is really like gathering all of this truffle. Like,
Okay.
there's a difference,
All right.
you know? Yeah, the
I mean,
details.
that's a sophisticated palate.
Thanks.
All right. One thing you mentioned, and I was talking to someone about this recently in an airport, is about the idea of being a fight fan. And you said you weren't allowed to really be a fight fan until COVID. Like, yeah, obviously there were many bad things about the pandemic, but one good thing was the fact that nothing was on but the UFC.
Yeah.
It's so many people fell in love with mixed martial arts, whether it was falling in love with the second time or really finding it for the first time. And I think, you're obviously way more on the inside, but we're going to look back over the last, couple of years in retrospect and really realize that the modern day fight fan, a lot of them, even if they knew about mixed martial arts before COVID, have, really fallen in love once again with MMA because, like I said, there was nothing else on TV.
Yeah, it's been really, really awesome. Like, to see so many people, and thank you to Dana White. Thank you to the man of the year right now, like, who's just like come out and above and beyond, and just he was like, you know what, everything's shut down, we still doing this.
Right, exactly.
Like, we doing this. He found a way. He trailblazed, and without having somebody like that at the helm of the UFC,
yeah.
there's no way that we would be open up. And I think he really started to open up the whole country, if you ask me. He got other sports rocking and rolling too. Other people were like, you know what, they found a way to do it, we can find a way to do it. He's an innovator, man.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. I feel a special joy in my heart when I think about traditional stick and ball sports. For the longest time, they looked at mixed martial arts and combat sports as something else. You know what I mean? Not the way you would look up to another sport. But I feel like during COVID, a lot of these stick and ball sports, they're forced to look at mixed martial arts and be like, okay, what are they doing that we can't do, and how can we do it right in these modern times? And there were a lot to learn from the UFC.
Yeah, it was really awesome, and I mean, it was really cool times just to be able to like watch UFC, watch MMA, and really become a fan of the sport. For a lot of people, not even like just myself, I've always been a fan of the sport.
Right.
But for a lot of people who found MMA and fell in love with it.
100%. She is Vanessa Demopoulos. I'm TJ DeSantis. This is Extra Rounds from UFC Fight Pass. Want to remind you, you can go over to UFC Fight Pass and use our promo code Extra Rounds, 50% off your first month over at UFC Fight Pass. Again, promo code Extra Rounds, which is a great way to like sort of get somebody a gift and be like, hey, I got you UFC Fight Pass.
The gift of knowledge.
And I only had to pay half price, but I got you this. And like that's the thing. Right now, over on Fight Pass, we got the LFA tonight.
Yes.
We got Force. Lex McMahon is fighting there. We got Budo Sento. So really come over and step into our world. We got the Fight Pass Invitational coming up as well. About 6 days away, if my math is correct. We're going to be joined by the King, Gordon Ryan, here in a little bit. But that's what I'm saying. Like now, when you have time off, because a lot of people have some time off in around the holiday times. Like it's time to dig into that vault. And,
yes.
Go down the rabbit hole, if you will, and watch some things that maybe you missed in UFC and Fight Pass history.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much time you can spend, like, playing card games with the fam.
Right.
You know? Yeah. Go
Yeah.
study some jiu-jitsu, man.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
When did you jump into Joe Rogan's arms? Was that this year?
That was January.
Right, so almost a year ago. So if you don't know what we're talking about right now, go back and watch Vanessa Demopoulos do the best post-fight interview in UFC history, I think.
Ty's got the shoey. I'm jumping into people's arms.
Right.
That's
yeah,
what we do it.
Exactly. I mean, how many people have held you on UFC television now? 3?
Yeah,
Two?
3
Three?
people. No,
Yeah.
well, 2 people.
2.
But it's happened 3 times.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So there you go.
So the same way that Ty, you were like, oh man, like, do you regret doing the shoey because like now everyone asks you for a shoey?
Right, yeah.
Everybody asks to pick me up, and
Oh,
I have
that's
to.
kind of
Like,
scary.
Yes.
It's like, are you strong enough, bro?
Not only that, like this happened last night. Like, are you sober enough?
Oh,
like,
man.
someone has to pick me up, and they looked like, they looked like really sturdy. I was
Right.
like, yeah, dude. So he went to go pick me up, and he fell over.
This just in, UFC strawweight Vanessa has a bruised tailbone because someone dropped her on the Las Vegas Strip.
This is a real thing. So now I have to like analyze, like, are you sober enough to hold me?
A fair question.
Yeah, because it happens all the time, especially at like the fight events. If I'm like walking around at the fights and there's a lot of alcohol at the fights.
Have you just straight up looked at someone and be like, yeah, I don't think you have it? No.
I actually,
No.
I've unfortunately
We're not
had to
doing
do that. Yes.
I mean, do you then in turn, if they're maybe like lighter, do you go, can I hold you?
You know what? I think about that with Laura Senko.
I mean, it would make
Because
sense.
I told her, even we talked about this last night. I saw Laura at
Right.
the MMA Awards,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, just so you know, girl, be ready. She's like, I'm strong enough to hold you. I can do this. I was like, all right. But then as I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, maybe I should be holding her. Like, yeah, she's a tiny little thing.
Yeah, I mean, she
she's
fought,
strong though. She's a brown belt jiu-jitsu. Like,
Yeah.
I know she's got it, but still.
She was
like,
an atom weight, I believe, when she fought.
She was,
Yeah.
yeah, for Invicta.
Yeah,
Yes.
so.
Which is that also in the vault somewhere?
Yeah, it is.
Ooh.
Yeah. Boss
Ooh.
Rude on the call. I know it. Know it well. You check it out. And then again, 50% off with code Extra Rounds. All right, let's talk about more fights coming up your way tomorrow night. We see Darren Till back in action. He takes on Dricus du Plessis. There are some similarities between Darren Till and Paddy Pimblett. When Darren Till came out, he kind of captured the MMA community with a bit of a buzz the same way that the Paddy does. Now, I'm not saying that Darren Till has failed to live up to expectations because I don't believe that to be the case, but, what is it like, for someone like Darren Till, who has done well in the past, has had a couple, hiccups. He did come up short in his welterweight title fight. Now he takes on du Plessis, and it's Darren Till that's the underdog.
Yeah, because du Plessis right now is being looked at like an Izzy, where like he has this extensive kickboxing background, and they look forward to him going in there and doing what they're doing.
I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, it's good.
We're among royalty.
We are among royalty right now.
This here, he's going to make his way over here in
Yes.
just a brief moment. UFC Fight Pass Invitational is headed your way next Thursday night. You got a one-night tournament, 8-man tournament, huge prize on the line, but it all leads up to a grappling super fight where a pair of familiar foes will reignite their rivalry. See, that's alliteration, Vanessa Demopoulos. You watch that? A pair of familiar foes will reignite their rivalry. Yeah.
I like that.
That's what I
Did you
do.
just get this?
Yeah, well, I've said it a whole bunch. I just
Oh, okay.
recycle those
I'm like,
things.
I really
yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll say fun featherweight fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun featherweight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flyweights will fight.
Flyweights.
Bantamweights will brawl.
Bantamweights. will brawl.
Welterweights will wage war.
Ooh.
Yeah. Lightweights will lock up.
What do you got for middleweights?
Middleweights will meet.
Okay.
There's a
You have
science.
this. I
yeah.
see this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't really have much for heavyweights, but Gordon Ryan's coming over here.
Hello. Oh my gosh. How crazy is it that I get to interview you now?
We'll get you in the middle here, Gordon. Nice seeing you. There we go. Have you grab that? The king has arrived. Gordon Ryan has really changed the way I think submission grappling really operates in this world, not just this country, but you've become, I mean, yes, there have been grappling phenoms and superstars before yourself, Gordon, but I think you've really come into your own and sort of changed the idea of what a submission grappling based athlete and fighter can do. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, we came in and I started competing professionally 6 years ago, and my whole thing was to take the sport from a participant-based sport where most people who watch the sport participate in it to a spectator sport where, we have people who never train jiu-jitsu, are not going to train jiu-jitsu, or just tuning in to watch, me and other athletes compete because it's exciting. And I think that we're, between myself and the other athletes and ADCC, I think we're making a huge, a very big leap towards that.
Yeah, let's talk about the Fight Pass Invitational. You find your way back to UFC Fight Pass where, it's sort of the breeding ground for a lot of this buzz, came through the EBI. And, we have this one-night tournament. You're going to be in the main event, sort of reigniting the rivalry with Vinny Megali. He's owns a win over you due to points. Let me ask you, what is the sort of format and like rule set with this match? Is there going to be a way to win by points in this match?
No, so this is a submission-only match. It's an EBI rules, but it's a 20-minute match.
Okay.
So normally EBIs are 10 minutes, and then EBI overtime. So this will be 20 minutes plus EBI overtime.
You know, one thing I love about EBI is, you know, hardcore MMA fans will appreciate the old Pride endurance round. So now you get that endurance round, but it's be double the length, 20 minutes. What does that do for the ebb and flow of a fight? Does that change the output?
Yeah, it makes it so you have to play a game where you pace yourself. You can't go as balls to the wall for 20 minutes straight. I think anything over 15 minutes is hard to go 100% the whole match. So when you start to get to longer matches, 20, 30, 40, minutes, no time limit matches, it becomes more of a game about pressure over time and pacing yourself throughout the match. So I think the longer time limit favors me because I consider myself way more efficient than everybody else, so their work rate tends to be higher than mine, and they get tired a lot faster than me. And then, 10 minutes in, 20 minutes in, 30 minutes in, that efficiency catches up to them, and then eventually I start to, it kind of snowballs, and I take advantage of that.
He's got 20 minutes of work, but last time Gordon was on Fight Pass, it was like a minute and a half to get rid of Alexei Oleinik. It's pretty quick.
I think that was the last time. That was a quintet, so yeah. Hopefully this one will be just as short.
So we've talked a lot about different elevations of star power, and you're absolutely at the top of the grappling scene when it comes to star power. What is that like for you from a pressure perspective? Do you kind of see this more as I am the king and I should hold this confidence, or do you see this as this kind of takes away and I have to make sure that I'm performing from a pressure point?
This is just fun for me at this point. I've done more than anybody, at least no-gi in the sport. For me, it's not really about me anymore. It's just about kind of trying to take the sport to the next level so that the athletes in the generations after me can get paid like athletes are supposed to get paid. I've won everything there is to win no-gi multiple times. So for me now, it's just fun. I want to compete against these guys. And, Vinny is one that's close to my heart because of the fact that he's one of the guys at black belt to beat me. So I beat Felipe, he beat me, and at black belt, and I beaten him. So now this is my chance to get the one back with Vinny. So I'm excited for this match.
Is there anything that you get to look forward to with grappling? Because you've said, you've literally accomplished absolutely everything, maybe 3 times over. So do you get to look forward? Are you excited about anything that's happening?
Just seeing the sport grow so much, I really enjoy, especially with ADCC this last year. We had 13,000 people in the Thomas and Mack. And getting athletes paid like real athletes. I want athletes to be able, my goal for the sport for athletes is for athletes to be able to compete, once or twice, maybe 3 times a year, and be able to live like real athletes just on the money they get from fighting. I don't want, athletes to have to open up a school or teach 50 seminars or spend all day teaching privates. I want athletes to be making, $250,000, $500,000, $1 million a fight within the next 5 to 10 years. So.
Maybe what is some advice that you could give to those athletes that are trying to do exactly what you're trying to help them do? You're dude, help me, help you, help me, help you. So
well, the number one thing is you have to win. If you're the best in the world, then everything else is easy. It's easy to talk shit. It's not easy to win, 20, 30, 40 matches in a row. So being the best in the world is the number one focus, and then you have to find a way to differentiate yourself. You have to be different. If you do the same things as everybody else, you always get the same results as everybody else. So you have to, number one is win consistently, and number 2, if you're going to talk shit, if you talk shit and you don't win, then it kind of, you just turn into a clown. No one really takes you seriously. So winning and then building a brand that's different from everybody else, I think, are the 2 most important things.
Well, I will say that not only are you the king at winning, but you're also the king at talking shit. So.
Yeah. I actually never planned to talk shit, but then, I won my first EBI. And everyone just started attacking me. I'm like, man, people are miserable. And then I was scrolling through George St. Pierre's Instagram one day, and I saw that 80% of the comments were hate comments. And I'm like, man, George is the nicest guy ever.
Literally the
I know
nicest
George.
guy ever.
I'm like, if people are going to talk shit to him, they're going to talk shit to anybody. So I may as well just do whatever I want and make more money doing it.
Well, it is true.
Yeah.
They say once you're hated, you've made it, and that's sort of the case. I think, especially with someone like you mentioned George. George is one of the sweetest people I've ever talked to. How do you ever hate on that guy?
He doesn't have a mean bone in his body.
Right.
And everyone, 80% of his comments, there's thousands of comments just talking shit. And I'm just like, man, if these people are going to hate this guy, they're definitely going to hate me, so I may as well just capitalize on it.
Yeah, you mentioned the EBI days, and if people want to go back and check it out, the vault is full of Gordon Ryan wins on Fight Pass. And I remember there was a piece that a guy named Ruben Rodriguez did called the Revolution of the Ground. and it was.
That was very good. I watched
yeah,
it.
I love that stuff. And looking at that first EBI that you did, I think halfway through, we're calling you the Iron Dragon throughout, and then you are waiting for one of the fights, and like you say off camera to Ruben, I think you said the king has arrived.
Yeah, the king is here. The king
is here. So did you know in that moment, like obviously you think you're going to go out there and win, but did you know the brand and almost the franchise that you were building in that moment?
No, so I didn't really, I was just like excited to be there really because I was like a last minute replacement. Eddie Cummings got hurt and it was like my first big tournament. I never competed against an ADCC champion before. Like Yuri was in there, Rustam was in there. There was like, the reigning medalist and champion, and I was just happy to be there. And then I won that, and that kind of solidified in my mind that I was like, okay, I'm at this level. Where do we go from here? And then I kind of started to think about like, building the brand. The King is Here thing is actually after that. It was like it was like a few EBIs later. So after EBI 6 is when I established. I'm like, you know what? If I call myself King, people will be upset.
Right. Okay.
But at least they'll notice me now. So after EBI 6, and then I beat Keenan. Then I was like, okay, let's build a brand now, and let's see how it goes.
Are you bringing the crown and the cape come UFC Fight Pass invitation?
I was actually going to bring the crown, and I had a custom-made like blue robe, like a cape to wear, but I left it at Mo's house for a Halloween party, so I don't have it. But I was going to bring it, but I'll bring it for the next one for sure.
All right, we can't wait. Gordon, appreciate the time, sir. Thanks for stopping by here at Extra Rounds, and best of luck next week against Finney.
Thank you, guys.
There he is,
Thank
the king.
You gotta stay here for a picture.
Yeah, we always take a picture here.
I like pictures.
It's true.
Okay, so
who's taking the photo? Who's taking the photo? There we go. Steve's taking the photo. Let's go like this. There we go.
Did you
Perfect.
get it? Okay, thank you.
One more.
One
Here
more?
we go.
Sick.
Perfect. Thanks, Gordon. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, always fun
freaking awesome stuff,
running into
yeah.
the king. Again, I'm gonna hit that
I'll
button
see you
one
on
more time. Head over to UFC Fight Pass, and you want to give the gift of Fight Pass this year 50% off your first month. Use the promo code Extra Rounds, and yeah, fun business. Gordon Ryan reigniting his rivalry against Vinny Magalish,
and potentially getting a win over it.
Right, yeah.
A win over the loss.
I mean, that's the thing. I would hate to be anyone trying to grapple Gordon Ryan at this point in time.
Yeah, that's rough. Because how long ago did that happen?
It was within the last 4 or 5 years, but like that's the thing. Gordon just continually gets better. Like it's hard to pinpoint anything that he's done wrong since really bursting out on the scene and coming off what he did at ADCC. Like
he's won ADCC twice.
Twice now, yeah.
Since that's happened.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Like quadruple golden plus won a super fight.
100%. And that's the thing too. He maybe he gets some hate online, but Gordon, I think, is so great for the sport of submission grappling because for the longest time, you look at these athletes that would do super fights and in tournaments, they were almost afraid to lose because really when you would compete, it wasn't almost for the money. It was almost more for, if I win and do well here, I'm going to get people to sign up for my seminars. I'm going to get people to sign up. And like that's one thing that I think is sort of been the issue with submission grappling at the highest level is not a lot of people are really willing to go out there and risk winning or losing. And, that's changed. And I think, with tournaments like the Eddie Bravo Invitational and the Fight Pass Invitational coming up next week is we've started to see the circuit where high-level grapplers can go out there and compete and do it and get paid and focus on being a submission grappling combatant rather than a jiu-jitsu instructor first, and then you go out and compete for promotional sort of seminars and student enrollment.
Yeah, I think the motivation truly has shifted, and if it hasn't, then it definitely needs to. And we have amazing people right here like Gordon Ryan who have really paved the way. This is a gentleman who really put his money where his mouth was. He started off on the submission-only scene, putting up his own dollars that he didn't have to get other people to pay as well, which is why he's been able to create all of this success. Yeah, no,
it's phenomenal. The UFC Fight Pass Invitational is headed your way next Thursday. Live on UFC Fight Pass, get the 8-man tournament. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for where submission grappling is going as well because, again, while we focus primarily on mixed martial arts, I'm a huge Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fan. You're a BJJ black belt. Yes. Never did I think that BJJ could be right there side by side with mixed martial arts and have the same sort of fight night feeling, but it most definitely does.
Oh, absolutely. And it's only getting more exciting. Like, there's larger prizes at stake here. We have combat jiu-jitsu now. You have normal jiu-jitsu. You have EBI rules. You have submission-only tournaments. I think it's like the stakes are always getting higher.
Yeah.
Like, we've gotten so far away from, like, the I just don't want to lose to I'm trying to freaking win.
Yeah.
And that is, like, two totally different atmospheres. I'm getting so
100%.
excited. I'm, like, smacking my microphone and stuff.
Yeah.
It's different, you know, like the I just want to do just enough to not lose this. I want to get like a point advantage versus like I'm trying to break your freaking kneecaps.
Right.
Like,
And that's one thing that's exciting too. We talk about Gordon and the evolution of him through EBI and then ADCC, and now he comes back to Fight Pass for the Fight Pass Invitational. But you were on hand in El Paso. We saw the 16-year-old Pat Shigoli doing work. Like, think about that. 16 years old, and this kid, he's also, by the way, in the one-night tournament. 16 years old going up against the best the sport has to offer. He takes on Mason Fowler. Mason actually beat his dad, Chris Shigoli, so a little redemption there. But, like, you never know who's going to grab the submission grappling world by the horns and just become an overnight sort of star. And we might see that. Whoever walks away with this Fight Pass Invitational coming up next Thursday is going to be a grappling superstar, to say the least.
yeah, and they have such large opportunities. You don't have to just be a black belt anymore to be a submission-only superstar.
Yeah.
You know, we have purple belts that are on the rise right now. You have brown belts that are really like nipping at the heels. So you got to look out for everybody right now.
Yeah, and I think that the success of submission grappling in combat sports has made mixed martial arts and the submission game there even grow even more. And also people are starting to realize what is happening, and they're becoming more fans of grappling in mixed martial arts. Like, for the longest time, it was stand them up. We want to see you guys, strike. And now, like, there are matchups where I literally am chomping at the bit for it to hit the floor. Literally. And, to speak to that, we got another guy coming up in action Saturday night, tomorrow night, inside T-Mobile Arena. We see Bryce Mitchell. This man is, known for not only twisting his opponents up, but hitting things with a twister. What do you think about Bryce Mitchell? Because he's another guy that I absolutely love, and I cannot wait to see him fight, but also fight on the floor in the UFC.
Man, Bryce Mitchell, I just can't wait to like hear him talk on the mic, honestly. Like, the things that comes out of that man's mouth is amazing. And he's somebody, like, he's just so fascinating to me because as a grappler, he literally will watch instructionals and just go out there and grapple. I remember the one time when he did like 4 twisters or whatever,
right.
However many twisters he hit. It was like, upwards of like 6, I swear. And he's like, I was just watching some Eddie Bravo stuff, and I saw how he broke down a twister, and I wanted to try it. I'm like, what the heck? Like, this man is just watching footage and being like, I'm going to try this in the UFC.
I'm not going to lie, your southern accent, it needs a little work.
Well, yeah, I don't want to, yes.
That's pretty good, though. I enjoy it. Even if it's bad, it's still good.
It's the worst accent ever, I swear.
Yeah, Bryce Mitchell finds himself as a underdog to Pora. This is a fight, though, where I know what the odds makers are saying. It doesn't matter, though. Especially when you have when you have a style matchup against Bryce Mitchell, you might be the favorite, but like, you cannot make one tiny mistake. If you stumble, Bryce Mitchell might wrap something up.
Yeah, well, Ilya is also known to be a grappler as well.
Right. Well, and that's the thing, too.
And he's also undefeated. You got
That's
two
true.
undefeated
That's true.
major grapplers going at each other right now.
My point is,
and I think that Ilya might be more like aggressive,
right?
And Bryce is more like tactical.
No, but when I look at Tapor, though, like, yes, he is a grappler, he is undefeated, but like, can you ever really fully prepare for someone like Bryce Mitchell? Because he does have an unorthodox style. Not everyone. Yeah, I mean, when you are in the gym and you're in the room, and you're going, "Hey, I'm fighting Bryce Mitchell. Can you emulate him?" People are just going to look at you and be like, "No, I can't emulate him."
This is true.
How do you prepare for someone like that?
Like, he's so unpredictable. Yeah.
So that's going to be a great fight. That's your first fight on the pay-per-view, by the way.
I know. I'm super looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm a Bryce Mitchell fan. Like, I love watching that dude fight.
Is he going to have the camo pants? Do we know if he's going to get camo shorts? He's had it before.
Yeah, he's got to.
Yeah,
That's
he's
his
got
thing
to, right?
now.
Yeah.
They didn't make specific shorts for him not to wear them.
Yeah, exactly.
He's wearing the camos. He's doing it.
If you could have some little monster prints, what would it be? Like, what would your custom design be? Do you have something in mind?
I do. I do.
You gonna let it out here?
No, I'm not gonna let it out here.
Dang, all right.
I'm not gonna tell you guys.
Can you tell me off the air?
Yes.
I'm excited to find out.
Oh my gosh, you are gonna lose your mind when I tell you.
All
yes.
Right. I'm excited. I'm excited to find out.
Wait for me to get on these pay-per-view events. I got some things in store. Let's go.
That's like, I don't know if that's a promise or a threat. Probably
It's
both. Probably
it's
both.
definitely a both thing.
Yeah.
Like, I already got yelled at for these things.
Okay.
So
I should probably move on so we
Yes.
don't get you yelled at.
Thank you.
All right. We were talking about Darren Till coming back in action, taking on Dricus du Plessis. That's Alex Morono. I'm going to press this button. That's Darren Till.
There we go.
What are your thoughts on Darren Till in this fight? Obviously the underdog, but someone that hanging out with Khamzat Chimaev. He's definitely in the pop culture, sphere. But he's very much the...
What are they called right now? The Bang Brothers?
Something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I just don't feel comfortable ever saying that.
I know, but you gotta say it.
I know. I mean, I'm just doing my job. I'm just reporting information, right? Something like that.
Tis what it is.
What do you think about this fight, du Plessis and Darren Till?
I think that we have two stand-up artists that are really going against each other, and the reason why du Plessis is on the plus side is because he is coming off of a little bit of a fight win streak right now.
Yeah.
He was known as kind of like being like the next looking Izzy coming in here, just having such expert striking, and we also know that Till is a striker as well.
Right.
But I mean, with him being a part of Chimaeva's camp, he's got that grappling underbelly right now, where he's been growing that and working on that skill set.
Yeah, I like his physique too. Like if he can get that upper body wrestling, and it's hard to develop that to the standpoint of Chimaev, but maybe we can see a Darren Till really bully people if he gets double underhooks.
I think that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can definitely look forward to that. And Darren Till has been in 5-round battles before,
Yeah.
where we've seen Dracus kind of fall out before
Right.
from a cardio perspective. So you have somebody who's been preparing for main events consecutively versus somebody who maybe might not have enough cardio to kind of get through the 3 rounds.
How much emphasis needs to be put on pushing that pressure in this fight, you think, between these two, if you're in the Till side?
Oh, you need to put the pressure on because we've seen Dracus grapple up. And for somebody who's got such great stand-up, he does like to kind of engage in the clinch and try to engage in the grappling. And it's like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Please just keep punching.
Yeah.
So I think that Darren Till has an amazing chance at this if he just goes in there and does all of the things that he does during Chimaeva's camps.
All right. So in closing, I'm going to see if you're going to do this. You ready to give me some fight picks?
Let's go.
You gonna do some fight picks?
Okay,
All right. Let's talk about the main event.
Yes.
We got title on the line, former champion, and Jan Blachowicz taking on Magomed Ankalaev. Your thoughts? Is it Polish power or is it Ankalaev walking out and new?
I want Polish power, but I see and new. I see
Okay.
Ankalaev winning.
All right. What do you think?
Dominantly,
Stoppage?
unfortunately.
Decision?
Yes.
No, stoppage.
I think they're gonna have to stop it maybe around the 3rd round.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
2nd or 3rd round. And here's the thing too, Jan's a freaking black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Right?
A
Yeah.
legitimate one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We saw him grapple Izzy.
It's true.
I'll grapple him.
It's
Well, I
true.
mean, that doesn't
He
really say a
controlled him.
lot,
But
but
hey.
he is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, a legitimate one.
100%. So Ankalaev's the pick.
Ankalaev's the pick.
All right. Now we got Paddy the Batty in our co-main event taking on Jared Flash Gordon. Gordon, the underdog here. Gordon has a lot to gain, but Paddy has really dominated inside that spotlight. Will he dominate in the octagon Saturday night?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. I see Paddy winning.
Paddy is the favorite.
I think that if he doesn't win within the first round and a half, then Gordon wins.
Okay. All right. So Paddy early, Gordon late.
Yes.
I like that pick. I like that pick a lot. That's a pick, too, that is sort of undersold. Like, if you are able to be strong, in the latter part of a fight and maybe get a stoppage there, even if you're dropping rounds early, you can still feel that momentum change and switch a little bit. So you're thinking Paddy early, Gordon late. I like it. I like it. All right, up next we've got Santiago Ponzinibbio. He was initially to face Ruthless Robbie Lawler. Now he takes on the Great White, Alex Morono. Who's taking this one?
Alex Moreno.
Okay, all right.
That's a strong.
I'm
firm on that one.
Is it just because of the opponent change, or do you like the stylistic matchup for Morono, even if this was a full 8-week camp?
I like the stylistic matchup. I think Moreno is the better fighter, the smarter fighter. Unfortunately, I feel bad. I like Santiago. Santiago's a friend of mine, dude. I see this dude at the EBIs when we go down there.
Yeah.
I like hanging out with him. But I like Alex to win this fight.
I mean, he's your friend until he finds out you picked against him.
I know.
Just saying.
It's the
We'll keep it
unfortunate
between
part
us.
of this job,
We'll keep it between us.
man.
It's a terrible thing to have to do when you
I
hang
gotta
out with
be
these people,
honest,
right?
man.
Hey,
I gotta be honest.
your honesty is appreciated here in Extra Rounds. All right. Dricus Duplessis. That was one of the more unique rounds I've ever heard from you, Vanessa Demopoulos.
It was legit.
All right. Darren Till, Dricus Duplessis.
I have Darren Till on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think he's the underdog as well.
He is.
Yes, I have
He
Darren
is.
Till. Yes.
All right. I like it.
I think that Duplessis is going to try to engage in the clinch with him, and Darren Till has been working a lot more on the clinch. I think that if Dricus is smart, he's going to just try to stand up and bang, but he just doesn't really usually do that. So.
All right. Then we got Tapora and Bryce Mitchell. Your thoughts? Who's winning the first fight of the night on pay-per-view?
I think that we all win on that fight.
We do.
That's just going to be a crazy
do.
fight, and especially as a grappler.
We need a pick, though. Need a pick.
I don't want to.
You got to. You got to.
You haven't picked anything.
I never pick anything.
You pick.
No. All right, I'm going Tapora.
You're going to Tapora?
I'm going Tapora.
All right.
I don't want to. I would love to see Bryce Mitchell win because you know this is why I want to see Bryce Mitchell win. Just because I want to see him put on the mic afterwards.
I know.
You know
I love Bryce Mitchell.
You know,
yeah.
but who knows? We'll see what happens.
Who knows? We'll see what
we all
happens.
win. We all win.
We all win. If you guys are excited about this as we are, and as torn as we are,
right.
you guys better be watching.
Yes.
Yes.
And if you're in the area tomorrow, you can come hang out with us. We'll be at T-Mobile Arena in the flight deck where we normally are. I'm excited just to finish out the year with another solid UFC pay-per-view. And I know this one took some bumps and bruises, but like, looking at this fight card, I'm adequately amped up. Like, I'm significantly stoked for this fight. See what I'm doing? Like, adequately amped up, significantly stoked.
I like it.
It's alliteration, Vanessa
like
Demopoulos.
these things.
Yeah.
He's so good at this stuff.
I'm
I just
amazing.
growl. Like.
Yeah, but you can say a lot by saying very little with your growl. It's all about your,
Silence is loud?
No, not only silence is loud, but like, we just had a very like frustrated, disappointed sort of growl. You know what I mean? Like I like
and then
it.
I have excited growls.
I know.
We have all different types of growls.
Sometimes I'm afraid you're gonna like claw my face off. Sometimes, depending on how stoked you are.
I'm a friendly little monster.
Right, but you're still a little monster nonetheless.
Yes.
So.
Yes, I am.
And it can change at a time. You never know. You never know. All right. I think that does it for us. So thank you for joining us for Extra Rounds. Again, live tomorrow inside T-Mobile Arena for UFC 282. Cannot wait to close out the year strong with our final. What are you doing?
I don't know.
I don't know what that is. I like it, though. It's the energy. Vanessa Demopoulos, she brings it here on Extra Round. Thanks so much for coming by and hanging out. I want to thank our guests as well. The King, Gordon Ryan. Watch him in action, UFC Fight Pass Invitational, coming up next Thursday night. And, of course, Bam Bam Tai Tuivasa for giving us a few moments here in Las Vegas as we get ready for UFC 282. Let's take a look at the odds courtesy of DraftKings. They are available for you right now. And if you want to get on the action, DraftKings Sportsbook is the official sports betting partner of UFC. New customers can make a money line bet of $5 or more and get $100 in free bets if your fighter wins at UFC 282. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use code FIGHTPASS and get in on the action at UFC 282. For Vanessa Demopoulos, I'm TJ DeSantis. This has been Extra Rounds. We'll see you next time right here on UFC Fight Pass.